Hey, what's up, YouTube? Brian G, the EVOG here. And yesterday, I got a YouTube notification as well as a text from a friend and fellow Fisker Ocean 1 owner about Marques Brownlee's autofocus review of the Fisker Ocean. The thumbnail read, "This is the worst car I've ever reviewed." I'm a big fan of Marques Brownlee and his content. And I know those thumbnails oftentimes are designed to get clicks, draw attention, and so on. So I set that aside and I excitedly sat down to watch his review. Now, oftentimes we think we're looking for information or entertainment when we look at content like this, but we're actually looking for affirmation versus information, especially those of us who took a calculated risk on the Fisker Ocean 1. Having said all of that, I take issue with a few things that Marques shared in his review. So let's get into that. Now, for context, the Fisker Ocean 1 is one of 5 EVs across Fisker, Rivian, and Tesla that we're fortunate enough to have. The Fisker Ocean 1 is our 7th EV over the course of the last 11 years, right? So that's a little bit of background. This EVOG channel is also about sharing my experiences as an EV owner, longtime EV owner, connecting with other EV owners and enthusiasts, as well as continuing to learn more about EVs and the people who enjoy them, right? So that's what we're looking to do on this channel. So please subscribe, like this content if you do, comment, and share. This is a brand new channel, started last month, and my goal for this year is to get to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully with your support. Having said that, here's some more context before I get into my points on Marques's review. We took delivery of our Fisker Ocean 1 on October 25th, so it's been a little more than 3 months since we've had our vehicle. It was delivered by one of Fisker's UI designers, believe it or not. They had a backlog of deliveries. It was all hands on deck. So we recorded an hour-long overview of the software interface conducted by one of the people who played an instrumental role in designing and working on it. So I'll leave that linked in the description. Another piece of context is the fact that we've got over 3,500 miles driven in our just over 3 months of ownership. And that includes a 1,000 plus round trip road trip from here in Maryland to outer Cape Cod and back, right? So we've spent a lot of time behind the wheel of this vehicle. We've also had 4 over-the-air updates in our 3 months of ownership that have significantly made our vehicle better, or at least made the experience of owning it better. We've also had benefit of having 2 mobile service appointments where the first one was for diagnostics, right? We had a couple of things going on with our vehicle. Specifically, the front air vents weren't functioning properly. So tech came to our home, did a diagnostic, understood what was going on, ordered parts. I want to say it was about 5 weeks later, he came back, contacted me, made an appointment to come back, pick up the car. He was here about 8:30 in the morning, picked it up, took it to our local service center in Owings Mills, Maryland, about 40 minutes from where we live here, and had the car back to us by 3:30 in the afternoon with everything repaired, right? So we've seen the software, driving experience, service, all within our short ownership period. So that's the context. In terms of what I saw in what Marques shared in his review, he obviously spent he did his work, right? He spent time living with the Fisker Ocean 1, more than just one or a couple of days that most reviewers tend to do. And as usual, he was super insightful, very detailed in his review, and he told no lies. Much of everything he shared was absolutely true. But again, context absolutely matters. And this is where I'm going to push back. So there are 5 areas where I feel like Marquez missed the mark. The first one, and I think it starts with his premise of his video, and he called it out near the beginning of the video, right? He wanted to review what's out now for real buyers who are living with this vehicle. Well, version 1.11 is the current software version. And Marquez's Fisker Ocean 1 from the Mitsubishi dealer was not running what he said is out there now that real buyers are living with, right? So the very premise of the video is flawed in that the vehicle that he's experiencing is not running the current software. I totally get and I totally agree with Marquez that we should not be looking ahead to what is coming in version 2.0. We should be looking at what's here and now. None of this is untrue. It's all very accurate. It's just not what the current software experience is for those of us who live with this vehicle. Many, if not most, real buyers are not living with what Marquez experienced. And he would have been able to see that had he been on the current version of software. So that's point 1. Point number 2, and this is an easy one. I'm not sure how he missed this, but he did make a comment in the video that, obviously the charge port is not NACS, right? North American Charging Standard J3400, the Tesla plug, right? It's not that. It's a CCS1 charge port that this vehicle has. And frankly, only Tesla currently uses NACS, right? So that's not a big deal. But he also indicated that there's no indication of that, and that's not the case. Back in August of last year, Fisker did announce NACS support starting next year in 2025. So that's not a big deal, but that was an easy one that Marquez missed in his review that I did want to call out and correct. Point number 3, Marquez seemed to make a really big deal about the lack of a glove box in the Fisker Ocean. The Fisker Ocean 1 in particular is the vehicle that he was reviewing, but he didn't mention that it has both driver and front passenger under-seat compartments, very much like his R1T from Rivian. And we also happen to own a Rivian R1T. So number 1, the Fisker Ocean is not the only vehicle, not the only EV, relatively new EV that does not have glove box. It has alternative storage that's under the seat for both the driver as well as the front passenger. And this is exactly the same as the Rivian R1T as well as the Rivian R1S. So I'm not sure how or why he didn't make that connection. So that was point 3. Point number 4 was his explanation of having accidentally discovered that the 17.1-inch touchscreen rotates. Another miss, because the Revolve rotating touchscreen is one of Fisker's future-forward differentiating features in the Fisker Ocean. He also failed to share or perhaps notice that when in landscape, when the screen is rotated, which can only happen when the vehicle is in park. The revolved screen enables access to 6 popular streaming services as well as a web browser when it's in that landscape mode. So that's actually a feature that is differentiating about this vehicle, is you're not just stuck with a portrait view or a landscape view. You have portrait when the vehicle is not parked, and then when it's parked, you get the ability to go into Hollywood mode by rotating that screen and getting access to YouTube, Hulu, essentially everything except Netflix, right? 6 streaming services. So an unfortunate miss there, again, by Mr. Brownlee, that I do want to call out and correct. Number 5 is he thinks that, and mentions this near the end of his video, as he calls out that he is rooting for a Fisker, as many of us are, right? But he does think that it's going to take a long time for this vehicle to get better via over-the-air updates. I know that to not be the case by virtue of what our experience has been over the course of the last 3 months, right? In 3 months, we've gotten 4 over-the-air software updates that took the experience from being very much what Marquez described in this video to a different experience where the software stack is much more stable. A foundation essentially has been built now from a software perspective, and now Fisker is accelerating the introduction of additional software features via OTA updates. Fisker actually published, I'm not sure if it was last week or the week prior, the entire roadmap for software updates, where before the end of this month, February 24, they're going to release version 2.0, which Marquez referenced. Version 3.0 is going to come out before the end of March, and I believe 4.0 is going to come out before the end of April, which essentially should make the vehicle largely software feature complete in terms of all the feature set that we see on the website. So in conclusion, as Marquez pointed out in his video, these vehicles are very much computers on wheels or iPads on wheels, and the software stack is built in such a way that it gets better over time. And you don't have to take it into a dealership. This all happens via over-the-air software update, much like our cell phones do. The Fisker Ocean was designed and engineered from the ground up to be a vehicle platform that can be updated over the air, very much like our Tesla vehicles were, going all the way back to 2013 when we first took delivery of our first Model S. This vehicle is built similarly to be able to update things like infotainment, the drivetrain, the battery powertrain within the vehicle, in addition to the way the vehicle performs and handles. All of these things can be updated via over-the-air software, and it happens at no additional cost over the course of your ownership. The vehicle is consistently improving month after month by virtue of software updates. So that's the reality of the ownership experience that we've had and are experiencing with this vehicle. As I said, I can personally attest to 4 updates to this point in 3 months, and very much looking forward to version 2.0. Because they're a new OEM, this is their first offering, right? There are market pressures to get the vehicles out, and this vehicle was delivered with an incomplete software stack that we see improving here over time. The last 3 months as an owner, I can attest to seeing improvement not just in the software, but also in terms of delivery as well as service and support, as I just shared a little bit about my own experience. Now, specifically here in the US, Fisker has also announced a bit of a hybrid model where they're entering into partnerships with the dealer network. We've already gotten 4 dealerships signed on already, but this is a topic that I'm going to be getting into with my friend Adam from A/304 YouTube channel of the EVOG podcast, where we'll go through updates on the Fisker Ocean. I've also got a couple of updates on Rivian. And if this content is of interest to you, number one, I thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share this content. And also leave a comment. I would love to hear from you as well. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.